it's useful, I think, to consider 5 broad levels of consciousness. And anyone who wishes to think about or learn about the psychedelic drugs must keep something like this 5-point scale in mind, because each drug experience energizes and triggers off different levels of consciousness. The 5 levels of consciousness that I suggest you learn and eventually learn to use are sleep, symbolic consciousness, the consciousness of the senses directly energized, the consciousness of cell, and the consciousness of precellular energy, molecular or atomic in nature. Sleep, symbol, sense, cell, molecule. Today, we Americans live in a drug-happy culture. Today, I would say that 90% of Americans are addicted to or dependent on some drug which alters consciousness. Think of the millions upon millions of Americans who depend upon tranquilizers, pep pills, alcohol, nicotine, to get them through the trials and joys of each day. Whereas in other centuries, men debated and fought over symbols, the cross or the crescent, or which version of the Bible you read. Today, our biggest industries and our most vicious political quarrels seem to be generated by which drug do you use. In order to make sense of the politics of conscious expanding drugs or consciousness contracting drugs, you must understand how specific drugs trigger off different levels of awareness. All of you know what happens when you take a heavy dose of a narcotic or of alcohol. You fall into a stupor. You escape into sleep. All of you know what normal symbolic consciousness is. We think of ourselves as human beings with tangible organs such as ears and fingers and eyes and feet. Actually, the human body is a collection of trillions of cells. Each cell in your body is a network of communication and intelligent energy much more complicated than the city of New York. Each cell in your body is performing tasks of communication, transportation, ingestion, elimination, defense, memory, and learning. Tasks which are millions or hundreds of millions of years old and which have not changed in many cycles of evolution. Within the nucleus of every cell in your body is contained a chain of protein molecules which is called the DNA code. This is the blueprint of life. The DNA code is a biochemical electrical architect's office which designs and constructs every cell in your body and the overall patterning of your organs and tissues. Your DNA code was created by the codes of your mother and your father. You contain, within every cell in your body, a living chain of molecules, which is literally the chain of life, and which traces back in an unbroken sequence to the beginning of life on this planet some 2 billion years ago. If one link in this chain of life had been broken in over 2 billion years, you and I would not be here today. During psychedelic sessions with drugs such as peyote, mescaline, psilocybin, and LSD, consciousness can contact the evolutionary wisdom which resides inside your cells, make connection with a living time machine which pulsates inside each cell. During the typical psychedelic drug session, the subject reports being tumbled through a compressed history of evolution. At 1 second, you lie pulsating as a single cell. In the next second, ancient memories of mammalian existence sweep over your consciousness. In the next second, 100 file card memories of other human lives spin through your projector. In 1 instant, you are an old man, a young baby, a beautiful woman. Here is an eerie science fiction world, impossible to describe in words. It's as though God has taken you by the hand and led you through the door of sleep, through the door of symbol, through the door of senses, into the heart of his workshop, relentless, timeless, tissue machinery, clicking, unfolding, changing, spinning out organic forms, constantly evolving. The most powerful of the psychedelic lenses presently available to us, and the most powerful experience which has been described in human history, is the 5th level of consciousness. The universe of pure energy, vibrations, pulsating rhythms, far older, far more powerful, far wiser than the cell, are those energies, molecular and atomic, which lay at the far outskirts of human awareness. During any 1 second of an LSD session, consciousness can whirl through all 5 levels: sleep, symbol, sense, cell, and soul. 1,000 microscopes, 1,000 telescopes, 1,000 blindfolds, 1,000 symbols spinning through awareness at each instant.